Good morning, afternoon, evening, guys. Today I'm going to go over how to set up the ghost mount and my thoughts about the ghost mount on my C6 Corvette, but really this applies to any car. I'm your host, Merc2SS. So we're going to start off with, of course, our plastic that it comes in and probably the box you receive when you're setting up your mount. And here you see the mount completely set up on the Corvette itself. So let's get into it. When setting up the triple suction, you see I have the main suction, which is activated by this push button here that releases the air and allows it to suction. And then you have your release, which will be on this side of the mount. Also, since I don't have the fancy version that you see right here, you have the lever suctions right here, these twists that allow these two to suction to the paint. And this one, of course, suctions to the window. All right, I will go into putting it on and taking it off for you guys. All right, guys, I will go over the disassembled parts, including the main mount right here that you see to the top left of the screen, and of course, all of your parts. As aforementioned, this is our main suction. If you look to the left, you will see a Phillips head connection right there. You're going to go ahead and loosen that slightly, and that will allow your pole, your stealth mount, to bend to the angle that you intend on having it at. When you've unscrewed and rescrewed this portion right here on this side of the suction, you go ahead and tighten that back, and we shall go ahead and install this right. Let's do it right here. Just for example, press our suction button in as many times as possible, and you will notice it will not allow you to push it anymore, which means that it is locked. It's still a little bouncy, which is why you have your other two suctions. But let's install our rubber washer. Nice and snug. And I'll just give this one an example of using our little twisty and wrapping it around the clamp itself. I try to put the arm of the clamp on top. You can unscrew these parts. Ouch.
A few moments later.
So after installing and pressing your suction button in as many times as possible, you're going to notice that it is time to install your rubber washer right there. You have your metal washer still attached to your little twisty screw, and you're going to install and clamp on your ghost mount to this rubber. This rubber is going to keep it nice and grippy for you. You see, I'm able to adjust it still to my needs. I put a little towel down so you guys can see exactly what's going on, but not scratching up the car. You don't want to ding up, trying to keep everything suctioned and whatnot. But of course, you move it once you're ready to finally place this bottom suction down. All right, you will notice that I clasped in my metal twisty to keep this arm in place. Our second arm will go on the other side to have that nice and balanced stability. Although I have tightened the center mount, I will leave some flexibility and some slack by not tightening anything except for the joints. I'm going to leave the joints tightened and leave this unsuctioned, only so that I can have the flexibility once again to install the third and last arm. arm. Same steps apply to our third and final arm. We are going to put on our little rubber washer, our gripper, to keep our clamp in place so the clamp will not slip on this material. And just like the other arm, you go ahead and tighten your little ghost mount twisty that's holding this clamp together and holding this little rubber washer together, your little gripper. Lastly, again, I will be tightening the joints. Same thing applies to this joint down here. Just gonna go ahead and get that a nice tighten. You'll also notice that it has an on and off on this version of the Ghostmount. What you're gonna wanna do is select this to on, and you'll notice it kind of jolts the car a little bit. But for each one, it will show that the suction is activated. And if I were to give a little wiggle, it doesn't wiggle like that. This one probably needs to be reseated. Let's make sure it's down on the ground. Even sturdier. It's literally the washer up there making that noise. How seated it is. Last but not least, let's install our applicable camera. I'm using a Insta360X4 for reference. Twist that in place. I usually kit the screen in the sky. That's how I saw it done, but it's good luck in my opinion. All right, guys, I promised you guys that I would take this apart. And first I will show you the expressway, which is really fast. This is for scenarios, especially you're going somewhere like the gym or the store. Or in other words, you're leaving your car outside and you don't want anybody to tamper with your mount. I will start off with the main suction. You see at the back, there is a button. It doesn't give much feedback when you press it, but you're supposed to hold it. It should start pumping some air. And there you go. Once I held it down for a few seconds, it released. My button's now pushable on the front side. Next, you will want to look at your mounts, your second and third legs. I will go ahead and undo the suction there, and you should be able to lift right here with this little flap, and it will become loose. Same thing applies with the other leg. Should start to come right off. There you go. Now let's say you want to completely take this thing apart, which I wouldn't. This thing is pretty darn amazing. What you want to do is follow the previous steps, so you don't necessarily have to completely disassemble it on the car if you don't want to. Starting with this primary suction, you will move on to the arms. What I would do is I would loosen the joints right here, the elbows connecting those mount to the clamps, and you will proceed to take your little metal washer twisties, ouch, it attacked me. Metal washer twisties out, and that will allow you to take off your rubber clamps and completely disassemble this the way it came in the box. I've in fact taken my little twisties out. So now these two arms should come apart quite easily by simply opening the clamp. And we are at our conclusion here. We'll go over our fully disassembled parts, our primary suction, our longest piece that comes out of the Ghostmount, our step 2, which are our little rubbers right here that go around the primary our step 3, which are installing these 2 legs to support each other and support the primary so that it's not wobble while you drive. I'll include some film of me driving with it on the freeway and on the road with a few bumps to show how steady it was. Amazing. And last but not least, to keep these in place, you will need to have your little twisties that they provide you and the washer in between. Give me a comment with any questions, concerns that you guys may have. Like and subscribe. I'm going to start posting more. Thanks, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Just a little preview. And I will show you guys what it looks like literally right here in the garage. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Looks pretty set up, guys.